Well, hello, thank you for joining me today again on the Church History Trail. You're very welcome to the programme. Where we are is we're just outside the gates here of Belfast City Hall. And I want to talk to you about Ulster Day, which occurred on the 20th of September 1912, because the streets round about here were absolutely chock-a-blocked back then. Now, Ulster was the only part of Ireland to experience the full vigour of the Industrial Revolution. As the Reverend Henry Cook said concerning Daniel O'Connell's case for repeal of the Union in 1841, he said, "Look at Belfast and be a repealer if you can." So Belfast had prospered under the Union. She was one of the major industrial powerhouses of the world at that time. Now, Saturdays back in 1912 were normal working days, of course, but on Saturday the 20th of September 1912, the industrial heart of the city of Belfast actually came to a standstill. When the religious services had ended at noon, Sir Edward Carson and the Unionist leaders proceeded by the Boyne standard, an ancient looking yellow silk banner carried by an ensign Watson, before William of Orange at the Battle of the Boyne on the 1st of July 1690. Carson and a smartly turned out guard of men wearing bowler hats and carrying batons walked along Bedford Street to Belfast City Hall. It was Major Frederick Crawford, of the Lorne gun running fame of 1914, who commanded the guard, and of course they were heading to Belfast City Hall for a specific reason in mind. So when Carson and the Unionist leaders reached City Hall, they were welcomed by the Lord Mayor and the 52 Unionist members of the corporation, and were led across the great marble vestibule within City Hall to a large round table which was draped with the Union flag. Carson then stepped forward and he signed the Ulster Solemn League and Covenant. He was followed by Lord Londonderry and then by the representatives of the Protestant churches. So I'm going to take you in here and let you have a wee look. So you could just imagine the crowds that were here that day. The streets were absolutely jam-packed, and Carson and his men then made their way into City Hall to sign the Covenant. You can see it says Belfast City Council. Absolutely beautiful, isn't it? So you can just imagine Carson and his men signing the Covenant here. And of course you can get tours of City Hall. Now at 1 o'clock the gates of the city were thrown open here at City Hall. So they flung the gates open at 1 o'clock, and large crowds then started to enter. And of course the reason why they were entering was because they were going to sign the Covenant as well. 540 signatures could be taken actually simultaneously, and the signing went on unceasingly until 11 o'clock that night. The Covenant was also signed, of course, in other venues in Belfast, as well as towns and villages throughout Ulster, from the shores of Donegal to the Arch Peninsula, and from the drumlins of County Cavan to the rugged coastline of North Antrim. Within Ulster, the Covenant was signed in some 500 centres. Now, in signing the Ulster Covenant, Ulster Unionists were signing their opposition to Home Rule, which was being forced on Ireland by the British government. And as it turned out, the outbreak of World War I and Ireland's participation in it actually ended the Third Home Rule crisis. There had been 2 previous bills. So the gates were flung open for the members of the public to go in and voice their opposition to the signing of Home Rule Bill, and so they could sign the Covenant against that. Now, Carson's newly formed UVF became part of the 36th Ulster Division, and then the National Volunteers, who were actually established to defend Home Rule, instead of fighting each other, so instead of the UVF and the National Volunteers fighting each other, they ended up fighting with each other against a common enemy. And of course that enemy was Germany in the First World War. And of course the First World War lasted from 1914 to 1918. So amazing history here, isn't there? No doubt about it. So that's Ulster Day here at the Belfast City Hall. And of course it was on the 20th of September 1912, which was a Saturday. So thanks for watching, and God bless.